Ancient sites that have survived centuries or even millennia haven't fared so well in the 21st century. These ancient cities in Asia are more than piles of stone and rubble. In fact, in many cases, they are the home of some of the world's most amazing ancient temples. They are windows opening to a truly mesmerizing past. Here is a glimpse of the amazing ingenuity and prosperity of surprisingly advanced ancient civilizations of Asia. Bagan, Myanmar. Bagan was the capital of the kingdom of Bagan from the 9th to the 13th centuries. On the eastern bank of the mighty Irrawaddy River in central Burma lies the Bagan Plain, an area of around 16 square miles and home to the world's most extraordinary collection of temples. Feast your eyes on 2,000 Buddhist temples and pagodas, stupas and shrines within an area just 13 into 8 kilometers, mostly built in the 11th and 12th centuries. The Bagan temples were constructed from wood or stone. The wooden structures have long since perished, and many of the stone buildings now in the ruins. However, those that are intact show the development of Burmese temple design. The shape of each building, each element of their architecture have a significance and a spiritual meaning in Buddhism. The large earthquake that hit Bagan in 2016 caused significant damage to some of the temples, but ironically, much of it was to more modern additions to ancient structures. Hampi, India, an archaeologist and historian's paradise, is an ancient village known as Hampi. Residing on the banks of the Tungabhadra River, Karnataka is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hampi is part of one of the most famous historic sites in the world that dates back to the 14th century. It was considered as the second largest medieval era city in the world after Beijing and India's richest then due to trading practices. Hampi, also known as the group of monuments, comprised of a wide array of temples, shrines, mosques, and tombs. One out of the numerous of Hampi's tourist spots is the Virupaksha Temple. The Virupaksha Temple is the oldest shrine of Hampi and rises over 120 feet. Hampi is also known for the Hazara Ram Temple. The temple is popular for the carvings on the outer and inner walls of the temple that depict the ancient Hindu epic Ramayana. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. Angkor Wat is an enormous Buddhist temple complex located in northern Cambodia. It was originally built in the first half of the 12th century as a Hindu temple, spread across more than 400 acres. Angkor Wat is said to be the largest religious monument in the world. Its name, which translates to Temple City in the Tamil language of the region, references the fact it was built by Emperor Suryavarman II, who ruled the region from 1113 to 1150 as the state temple and political center of his empire. Originally dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, Angkor Wat became a Buddhist temple by the end of the 12th century. Angkor Wat's significance within the Buddhist religion of the region increased. So, too did the legend surrounding the site. Many Buddhists believe the temple's construction was ordered by the god Indra and that the work was accomplished in one night. Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. Deep in the middle of Sri Lanka, a massive column of rock juts out from the green tropical forest. It reaches 660 feet tall and features frescoes, graffiti, and landscaped gardens. The rock is known as Sigiriya and holds a special place in the island's cultural history. It was established as the stronghold of a rock king over 1500 years ago, and today the Sigiriya complex stands as one of the earliest preserved examples of ancient urban planning. The fortress complex includes remnants of a ruined palace, surrounded by an extensive network of fortifications, vast gardens, ponds, canals, alleys, and fountains. It is known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean, a tribute to the island's natural beauty, people, even its shape. One of the most breathtaking features of Sigiriya was the gardens, which consisted of 3 distinct components: the water gardens, the cave and boulder gardens, and terraced gardens. Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is an ancient series of walls and fortifications totaling more than 13,000 miles in length, located in northern China. Perhaps the most recognizable symbol of China and its long and vivid history, the Great Wall was originally conceived by Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the 3rd century BC as a means of preventing incursions from barbarian nomads. The best known and best preserved section of the Great Wall was built in the 14th through 17th centuries AD during the Ming Dynasty. Though the Great Wall never effectively prevented invaders from entering China, it came to function as a powerful symbol of Chinese civilization's enduring strength. From a base of 15 to 50 feet, the Great Wall rose some 15 to 30 feet high and was topped by ramparts 12 feet or higher. Guard towers were distributed at intervals along it. Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. Anuradhapura city, north-central Sri Lanka. It is situated along the Aru River. The old section of Anuradhapura, now preserved as an archaeological park and designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982, is the best known of Sri Lanka's ancient ruined cities. In the immediate vicinity are huge bell-shaped dagobas built of small sun-dried bricks, as well as temples, sculptures, palaces, and ancient drinking water reservoirs. The city also contains an ancient pipal tree that is believed to have originally been a branch of the Bodh tree at Bodh Gaya, under which Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment. The Bodh tree branch was planted at Anuradhapura about 245 BCE, and it may be the oldest tree in existence for which any historical record. Anuradhapura has significance in Hindu legend as the fabled capital of Asura king Ravana in the Ramayana. Evidence of the importance of Hinduism and Buddhism in Anuradhapura lay in the sacred buildings that remain to this day, including gigantic temples and expansive monasteries. Since restoration of the sacred sites in Anuradhapura, the city has again become a much-visited pilgrimage center. Palanaruwa, Sri Lanka. Polonnaruwa Kingdom, or the ancient city of Polonnaruwa, was the second capital of Sri Lanka for 3 centuries, between the 11th to the 13th century, after the destruction of Anuradhapura Kingdom in 993. It's located in north-central province of Sri Lanka. It comprises, besides the Brahmanic monuments built by the Cholas, the monumental ruins of the fabulous garden city created by King Parakramabahu in the 12th century. Due to its archaeological prominence and the ancient technology superiority, UNESCO declared Palanaruwa as a World Heritage in 1982 under the name of the ancient city Polonnaruwa. Ayutthaya, once an ancient Thailand capital and the trading capital of Asia, was founded in 1350. In its day, Ayutthaya was filled with enormous monasteries, exquisite temples, and gold-filled palaces in a city considered one of the finest in the world, a UNESCO World Heritage Site located in the center of the city. For a comprehensive overview of the city's history and past glory, surrounded by these ruins, it's not difficult to imagine the grandeur that once was the kingdom of Ayutthaya. Ayutthaya Historical Park comprises 4 temples: Wat Phra Ram, Wat Phra, Sea Sunset, Wat Mahathat, Wat Ratchaburana, the Royal Palace, and Uyam Phra Mongol Buffet. All that remains are the ruins of the old city, which are preserved in its historical park and give a glimpse into the history of magnificent city that once stood in its ruins. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you like our videos, then please subscribe our channel and hit the like button to get notified every time.